Hi, this is Henk, and welcome to another edition of the Skull Sessions. And today, my guest is Brandon Rhiness. Is that correct?
That's right.
All right, awesome. I got it right. Okay, man. So, what's going on?
Oh, not much. Just got a lot of movie kind of stuff going on right now. I've written some novels and some comic books, but last few years, my main focus has been on doing movies, mostly horror movies. So we got a couple coming up this summer. Well, I guess one's a horror movie, one's a kind of sci-fi comedy. But yeah, we have. I guess the main thing we got going on is Grotesque 2, which is the sequel to my movie Grotesque. Comes out. We're having the premiere here in Edmonton, up in Canada, on July 17th. Having a big screening, and we'll be releasing it publicly at some point after that. So we're really excited about it. It's the biggest movie I've done. We had 250 people involved in it, and it's if you love indie slasher movies with a touch of comedy in them, I think you might like it. But yeah, our first Grotesque movie came out a couple of years ago. It's out there on streaming services and my YouTube channel. So by all means, if anyone has not seen it yet, go see it.
And what's the purpose? Is you're saying it's a slasher, but with some comedy mix in?
Yeah, it's basically this young woman who was born with this enormous nose, and everyone's always kind of made fun of her. So one day she decides to go to, she wants to get plastic surgery, but she can't afford it. So she goes to this kind of sleazy guy who works out of a strip club basement. And basically the operation ends up getting botched, and she's left with a hole in her face, so it looks even worse than before. And she basically snaps and goes on a rampage and kills everyone from her life who ever made fun of her. And so yeah, it's a slasher comedy. It can get ridiculous at times. It's got a lot of gore and stuff in there, but we were kind of shocked that people loved it. It did very well. So we were like,
does it have kind of Shaun of the Dead vibes?
Kinda. It's like a different kind of comedy, but it would be in the same vein where it's kind of like half funny, half gory.
Okay.
I've had some horror fans that were like they didn't like it because it was like not horror enough. But then we had other people that absolutely loved it, and I even had people that don't like horror movies that like this one because just because it's got it, it's kind of like it's almost got like a romantic comedy sweet vibe to it, but then it's like horrendously violent and evil at other times. So it's it's got some pretty shocking kills in there. So I think people are kind of on the fence about whether or not they like it. But yeah, we're like, you know what, let's do a part 2. These people liked it, so we basically, I think it was a year ago this week, we began shooting part 2, and we're kind of coming to the end of into post production now, and I'm kind of anxious to see what people are going to think of it.
I know with certain indie movies you don't have to get rated like the PG or R rating. Does yours have a rating? And if not, what would it be?
It would be in Canada we have like a different rating system. So we got like the first one got rated 18A or whatever. Basically our version of rated R. So it's it's definitely not for kids. It's got some pretty horrendously violent scenes in it. But it's kind of funny, so if you cut out all the violent scenes, it seems like it would be a very sweet, like almost like a Hallmark movie in some of the parts. Because we call like Mildred Moyer is the main character. She's like the killer, and we kind of started calling her a lovable psychopath because she's so like sweet and likable, but at the same time she like she'll cut you open and rip your guts out just for offending her in the slightest way. But you can't help but cheer for her because she just went through so much crap, and everyone she kills, like, they probably don't deserve to die, but they all did. They're all some sort of mean person.
There's something led up to it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's...
Yeah, I think real horror fans like the monster way better than, the victims. Like, the victims are kind of like a fly-by-night, pass-by. whatever. It might be people that you hated in high school, but it's like when you watch for instance, you were in Friday the 13th shirt, like I was cheering for Jason. Jason was my man. Like people were like, oh, well, what about the camper that was like smoking weed and having sex and got an arrow through the neck? It's like, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, Jason's the one you remember from the movie. Freddy's the one you remember. And we got a good cast of characters in Grotesque. We have Mildred Boyer. She's the one, she wears like a mask and like a polka dot dress, and she's got these like big black boots, and so she's definitely like an iconic character that you see it once, you're gonna like recognize that. And we even had some people dress up as her for Halloween and sent us pictures and stuff. So we're kind of hoping to have our own indie version of Freddy or Jason or Michael Myers.
That's cool. Yeah, one of my favorite filmmakers, David Cronenberg, I'm sure you know who he is. He's from Canada. Would you say your stuff is kind of like that, or would you say it's like his stuff is a little bit surreal, like almost like John Carpenter mixed with like David Lynch?
Yeah, that's a very good way to put it. I would say I'm nothing like him. I like his movies, but it's a different style. Yeah, he's got it. Yeah, it's a little bit surreal, like Videodrome. It's like freaking awesome movie,
which is an awesome movie. Yeah,
but it's like it kind of gets weird as hell at certain points. That's his style. That's not my style, but yeah, I like how your comparison. John Carpenter with David Lynch. It's like, yeah, that's the best way I've heard it described. But yeah, Cronenberg's awesome, but he's got his style. I have mine. I'm not sure who my style would be like. Probably someone else would have to figure it out. I think I'm too close to it.
I think if I recall correctly, Cronenberg talked like the Film Association of Canada and giving him funds, and then like there was like an outcry after they found out what came out of it.
Yeah, kind of it makes me jealous a bit because I've tried to get government grants before, and like they wouldn't give me a chance, right? And I just have the feeling that they just look at what I'm doing, and it's like it's not some kind of crappy arts film. It's like
maybe Cronenberg wrote it. Like maybe that was the opportunity. I mean, he had the court started it too, so I'm sure that created even more controversy.
Yeah, and I mean that was that was kind of in the '80s, I think, so maybe it was a different time. But I've kind of long given up hope that the government is going to give me any money, and it's like we're going to have to just raise it through crowdfunding and reinvesting money we make in the movies and selling merchandise, or very very grassroots trying to pull these things off.
So, do you have how do you market? Do you have a website? Do you is it available through various streaming services?
Yeah, we have a website. I think it's like higher-universe.com. I think Higher Universe is my company. So yeah, we have like a YouTube channel, and if you look up like my name or Higher Universe, or if you look up Grotesque. There's like a Japanese movie called Grotesque, and then there's a American movie with Linda Blair from the '80s called Grotesque. So you have to look for the right Grotesque, but you'll notice it because it's like a red poster with Mildred on the cover. Like you won't miss it. But yeah, we're on like Tubi and a lot of the kind of indie streaming services.
Okay.
Yeah, if you just Google it, you'll find it.
Have you seen the Japanese version of Grotesque?
I have not.
What did you say? Good. Like they have some blasting that came out there, so I don't know. I'm just curious. That's like neither here nor there. I just raised my curiosity.
Yeah, it's a completely different movie. Kind of scared me too, because maybe last year sometime after the first Grotesque came out. And someone messaged me, and they're like, "Oh, you should listen to this." Like, it was like a video of like a murder interrogation somewhere, and so they told me to watch this certain part, and I watched it, and they're interrogating this guy that like apparently like dismembered someone or whatever, and the guy's like, "Yeah," he's like, "Yeah, I was watching this movie called Grotesque," and I was like,
"Oh shit." Yeah.
But then he started describing it, and I'm like, oh, he's talking about the Japanese one. I'm like, thank God, because I would hate to have my movie linked with some like real life murder case. But so yeah, that Japanese, it's supposed to be really gory and violent. It's more like a Saw kind of itchy to killer kind of movie. So it's like whatever. I've never seen it. I probably never will. It's just we happen to have the same title.
Right. And just I know that a lot of Japanese stuff is like it's very fucked up. Like like Audition or like like The Ring. It's like they're clever ideas, but they're kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it's straight. It's strange. I've been to Japan when I was younger, and they're such like a friendly people, right? Like they have like very low crime. They're just known for being like like great people. But their
that's
movies
probably
are
what
just
breeds
so
it. Like you see less horror out of areas that are like all war torn and third world. You see it more out of like super like calm, civilized, on deserves at least worlds.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how that works, but yeah, like there's like the Takashi Miike movies that are like it's like I'm glad they exist because they're very well done, but it's like like you don't see that a lot, and it's like I just like even kind of, like I'm not a big anime fan, but I just respect it as like an artful one that they've like carved out their own piece of like entertainment where it's like this is Japanese, there's nothing else like it. And, they'll make American versions of the movies, and sometimes they're pretty good, but they're not. It's not the same thing, right? So it's kind of cool that that it exists.
Yeah, I've tried to get an anime. I just can't. I mean, aside from like Akira or Ghost in the Shell,
Yeah,
one that's like totally off from the normal. I just get like, and my girl's Korean, so like all the time she's like, "Oh, check this out, you check that out," and I watch from like I can't get into it.
yeah. It's super popular. Like it's like they have like anime conventions. Like it's a massive thing, but I've never.
Oh, I know. People dress up like it, and and then we get like Pokemon Go, and that's like kind of social Darwinism, and we send people out and the traffic like on their phones and stuff. But all right, man. So aside from the movie. Didn't you mention a bunch of other stuff like comic books and like books as well, like other projects you're working on as well?
Yeah, I've written one of my horror novels is called I'm Haunted. It started off as like a web series. Elizabeth Chamberlain, who's she's the star of Grotesque, and she's kind of rapidly becoming a pretty big star. Like all of a sudden, she's in Vancouver now shooting a movie. She's like constantly in the US shooting movies, and she's like super awesome actor, great person. But we were kind of
great. You got into the floor too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She's been in like 14 of my between short films and everything or something. She's been in a lot of my stuff. But we were kind of like we wanted to do something super cheap, and I was like, what if we did kind of like a found footage movie where we pretend that like your house is haunted and you're filming it on a cell phone, and we'll film a whole bunch of videos. So we shot like 50 some videos, and we released them in real time. Like every day we put out one video kind of telling this story of her escalating haunted apartment. And it wasn't that popular on YouTube, but I compiled all the movies, like all the videos into a movie, and I like re-edited it. And all of a sudden, it was like freaking massive. It's like it's I'd say almost bigger than all my other movies combined. And we kind of did it as like a fun thing to do. I didn't think anything would come of it. And all of a sudden, it was big.
Do you think that releasing like new episodes one at a time kind of built up an audience for it? So like when it all came out, people were like, "Oh, this is a comprehensive, story going on."
Yeah, it could be. I wasn't expecting because it wasn't like it's like I think the most popular video on YouTube, the most popular ever had like 1,500 views. Some of them only have a few hundred, so it was by no means a big success. But somehow when I released it as a movie, it's like that kind of struck a chord with people. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to release it as a book because it's basically like her like video blog. She tells it like a story. So I turned it into kind of like a journal of her just tracking all this weird stuff happening to her, releasing it as a book. And then just about a month ago, we released I'm Haunted 2. I released it on my YouTube channel first, and then it's on some other platforms now, or it will be soon. And we actually started shooting I'm Haunted 3 in about 2 weeks from now. So I was like, you know what? If people like these and they're popular, it's like and I can do them easily and cheaply, I'm going to kind of crank them out because people seem to love them. But yeah, so I have that I'm Haunted book that's based on that. And then I wrote another book called The Man in the Box. Like this woman that her husband dies and she wants to get a hold of him, so she buys. They technically exist in real life. I don't think they work, but it's called like a ghost box, where basically it's like a electronic thing, like a radio that you can use to talk to the spirit world.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen one. I have a feeling they're all full of shit, but apparently you can buy them on like Amazon. So she like buys one and tries to contact her husband, but she ends up contacting this like what turns out to be a demon, and he kind of just like worms his way into her life and ends up ruining her life. So that's it's probably my favorite book that I've written. They're available on Amazon too.
Okay, and that one, what's the name of that?
It's called The Man in the Box.
Okay, was that your first book that was available?
Honestly, I can't remember if that one and I'm Haunted came out around the same time, but I can't remember which one I did first. But
okay, what time was that?
This would be like, I don't know, 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, something.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working on another novel, but it's like, yeah, the movie stuff is like, it keeps me so busy that I don't have enough time to write as much as I'd like to. And I make my living writing screenplays, like usually for like other people, other companies. So I kind of got to do that just to like pay the bills. So trying to find the free time to write books for myself in between. Like I wish I had more time, but I'm always just so busy trying to do other stuff. But I'm writing a vampire one now that I hope to have out probably next year sometime.
And what will that be called? Have you decided on the name yet?
It's called The Crossing Hotel.
Okay.
And, yeah, basically this woman, she's about to die. She has like cancer and she has like 2 months to live. So she just like basically can't afford her house anymore. So she moves into like the dingiest, like sleaziest hotel she could find because she has enough to, she just needs a roof over her head to like wither away and die. And then while she's there, she kind of discovers that the hotel is run by this couple. Turns out they're vampires, and they're basically feeding on the poor kind of people that live in this hotel. These transient people will come in, and the couples are like feeding off of them. So it kind of gives her a reason to live because she's like, "Fuck, I want to do something good with my life before I die. So how about we all band together and kill these fuckers?" And so that's kind of the premise of it.
Okay. And when you do a novel, do you have a typical length that you shoot for?
I want to make them longer. It's just I'm so used to writing screenplays that kind of have like a definite 90-page to 120-page kind of length. And I got so used to writing so tight that my books always come out too short. And if you see like I'm Haunted and Man in the Box, like they're quite short books. Like maybe like probably 200 and some pages or something.
Okay.
So I want to start writing longer novels. It's just such a different mindset. And I'm used to
I think you see anything over 170 pages graduates from a novella to a novel.
Yeah, I'm kind of hovering just past novella range. So it's like, yeah, I want to start writing some longer books, but it's like in my mind, everything is just like such a tight story. It's like I gotta realize, hey, I'm writing a book. I don't have to be so concise with my writing. I can tell a bigger story. So to me, that's kind of my next step.
Right. Well, do you find that you enjoy the screenwriting and filming and whatever involved bit better, or do you enjoy more like the writing?
it's hard. I like them both. Like I like the writing because it's like I get to sit by myself and just tell the story. But I love the filmmaking because then all of a sudden it's like, hey, you're working with a bunch of people and it's exciting, and you're traveling. And we shot Grotesque. We like rented a camp for 5 days for Grotesque 2, and we had like 50 people went out there. We stayed at the camp while we're filming, and it's like as an adult, you don't get to like do that kind of thing a lot, right? So it was kind of cool that you just get to do something exciting and go out on the water and just like it was fun, but at the same time, I love the process of the writing where it's like it's just me coming up with the story. So I try to have a healthy balance, and like I write, I'll sit down and I'll spend a few hours writing a screenplay, and then when we're filming a movie, it's like there's no time to write. It's the entire month is basically just busting your ass trying to shoot the movie. So I would
you already have the screenplay, and you're like just working on ways to bring it to life.
Yeah. Yeah, even now, it's like we got 2 movies we're shooting this summer. I'm Haunted 3 and a sci-fi comedy called Mirabelle versus Earthlings. We're shooting one like starting in a couple of weeks, then Mirabelle we're shooting in August. But in between, it's like I'm still writing other screenplays and doing that kind of stuff. Some of them that are like I'm writing because I got hired to write them or I'm trying to sell. Other ones are like projects that I'll end up directing myself. So like, I got a kind of a stable of scripts. Some of them, it's like I'm trying to sell them, but if I don't sell them and somehow I come up with the money or the means to make them, then I'll end up making them myself. So it's kind of a process of always just juggling projects and seeing where they go with them.
Do you find that you kind of like fall in the niche of like, doing lots and lots of like storyboarding and stuff for films, and like you kind of get away from like traditional writing?
I don't do a lot of storyboarding. I know some people do. Like some people are good artists, so they can kind of plan out what they want. I don't see things as visually. Like we usually hire like director of photography and people to do the camera stuff. So I don't really see it that way, but I always do a shot list. Like I'll kind of have a plan out how I want it filmed. But a lot of the times it's, once we get to the location, then we'll come up with ideas while we're there. So I try to keep it a bit loose so we can do other stuff. But yeah, I've developed my own style over the years, especially working in indie film with like very low budgets. Like we don't have Hollywood resources. So I've had to learn like how to do it very efficiently and very quickly. And also like, if it's my own project, I put my own money into it. Like a lot of time, like there's no money to pay me. So if I spend, too much time doing it, it kind of wastes my time, and I need to be efficient so I can fill the rest of my time with, screenwriting and things that I can actually, make a living off of.
So when you do it, actually, I meant screenwriting as opposed to storyboarding, because I do storyboarding is a whole separate art. But as far as screenwriting, like when you write something, do you keep in mind that you could either make it as like a script for a movie or a plot for a novel, or do you try to keep them separate?
I try to not keep them separate. Like even The Crossing Hotel, the novel I'm working on, started as a screenplay. I wrote it as a screenplay, but it's just the budget that it would be too hard for me at this point to pull it off. We don't have the money or resources. But I can turn it into a book and expand on the story. So everything I do, I kind of have it in my mind that it could work as a comic book if I wanted, and as a novel, and as a movie. And we kind of just take it in whatever direction I have the ability to make at that point. But I try not to make it like this could only be one. Usually comes down to budget, like I have comic books that have like superheroes in them, and it's like, I can't film that at the moment. It'd be too hard, but it works as a comic. So I kind of, everything's in mind that if I have the resources, I can do it in another medium. I kind of use whatever is necessary at the moment.
So you mentioned comics a few times. Have you done comics? Do you release some stuff or work on comics?
Yeah, I've like published under my company Higher Universe. I published a bunch of comics. Kind of started about like 10 years ago or so. I was kind of all about the comics, and we released a whole bunch. And then as I moved into doing the film, it kind of went to the back burner because I just don't have enough time to do them all. But yeah, like we have a bunch of comic books out there. I've written a few comics for like other people, and some of them have been published by other companies. A lot of them I just published them myself. So we have, like Chainsaw Reindeer and the Boy with a Balloon for a Head, Ghoul Squad. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them that we have. Yeah, if you look up Higher Universe, a lot of them are on Amazon or some other like digital platforms too. If you look them up.
How do you pick out? Like, I assume you get like a team, like you get an artist in there, or maybe a colorist. I don't know if they're in color.
Yeah. I'll write the scripts, and then usually I would like hire a penciler, hire a colorist, and a
letterer,
that kind of thing. I know for a lot of like bigger companies like Marvel, like they have like separate inkers, which is like a separate skill. But when you're working with my budgets, most of my pencilers also ink their own work.
Right.
I just don't have the money.
I think a lot of pencilers do prefer to do that. Like when I into the comics, like more than 2 decades ago, I was like, they said your pencils are too detailed for most inkers. I'm like, oh, I'll ink it. And there's a reason why a lot of times artists don't ink their own stuff with the major companies. Is because they want it all cranked out really fast.
Yeah.
And they're afraid that you're like, to be honest, I mean, it takes, right now, if I do a full splash page, it takes me 3 days. They want 24 pages a month. So there's no way, if you're inking your own stuff, you're doing it like super detailed. Like, you're just setting yourself up for failure. So if you notice, like, all the top comic artists always seem to run late, and they have like issues filled in by other people. That probably has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Like just the way I was working, because I didn't have enough money to make one a month. We would do like one every 3 months or 6 months. So I gave the artist time. If you only had to do 3 pages a month, they had time to ink their own stuff. But yeah, that's probably like if you have to like a comic out every month. Even Marvel, I remember back in the 90s, like sometimes they would do it like every 2 weeks. Like for like it'd be like a run of every 2 weeks. Like that's incredible to put out that much art.
Well, they don't get paid that much, and like I remember when I interviewed, I was like, holy shit, I can't believe how little you get paid for this. But people like Jack Kirby would do like 6 comics a month. And I like Jack Kirby, but he is a very stylized form, and he probably has it because that's easy to render for 6 issues. Like there's no way you can do this complex, very detailed form for 6 issues.
Yeah, like like Todd McFarlane, guys like that. Like it's there's just no way you can draw that quickly. But understand that at the same time, the company needs to put out a product because you need to sell it. So it's like, I always wanted to have a schedule where it's like I could put out one every few months. But it was kind of like we would work on it whenever it's done, it's done.
Right.
It would depend on like how much money I have versus how long it would take them. And, and it's like after a few years, it's like you start getting things done. But it was so hard to keep it consistent. And even just like artists, like trying to get them to do a few pages a week sometimes would be difficult. And it's like, it's always a struggle, but I mean, it's a fun art form, and I kind of like it. It's, it just takes effort to put it out, and it kind of makes you more proud of what you come up with.
Yeah, no, I agree. Do you try like a Kickstarter or anything like that to like, raise funds as you go along?
Yeah, we use Indiegogo quite a bit to raise money. We're going to be launching, I'm hoping this coming week, launching a new one for I'm Haunted 3 to raise money for that. I don't think I ever did any for the comics that I remember, but the film we do. Some of them, we raise a lot of money, decent money. Some of them we don't, and it's like, we have to find money elsewhere. But, I got money trickling in from the movies on streaming, money from Amazon, money from YouTube. None of it's a lot, but it's all enough to kind of keep the whole operation going.
Like the success goes to like fund the one that wasn't quite as big.
Yeah, it's always about money's always the issue. Like I wish I just had millions of dollars. I didn't have to worry about it, but it's not the way things work. But the good thing is like now that I have a name for myself and my movies and everything, it's kind of popular. It's become easier now. Like I remember starting off, like no one trusted me, and because I never made anything. But now that I have like a bunch of films out, people like see what I do and they're like, oh yeah, I can kick in some money. Like this, they just want their name attached to it. It's like you can be part of, I'm Haunted 3 or Grotesque 3. Just be attached to it somehow. Like people find it's worth chipping in. They just want to help out and be a part of it.
You have a site where people can go and see like everything you put out, like everything selected.
Yeah, if you just like go on YouTube and just look up Higher Universe, you'll see the yellow HU logo. I can send you a link to that too. That's where all the film stuff is. You can go there. We have a website, and like it's only been up for like very, very recently. So yeah, I think it's higher-universe.com. That will have everything else. But yeah, if you just Google my name or Google Higher Universe, you'll find a link to everything I've worked on. But YouTube is probably the best place because I've made like 20 short films or something. They're all on there. My full-length movies are on there. I think I've made 4 or 5 of them. And all this like videos behind the scenes, like interviews I've done. There's a lot of interesting stuff you'll find on the YouTube channel. So it's probably the best place to go.
Okay, so that's better than your website. Would you have everything on your website, or would it be more on the? Like, I take you have your own YouTube studio. Like that's right for the podcast. I have like the Dan Henk Skull Trends Studio.
Yeah, like YouTube. I think that'll probably give you a better idea of stuff. Like the website, we're still kind of working on it. So it has like some stuff on there, but like YouTube is kind of where you really want to explore what we do. That's where you'll see like all of our main stuff.
Okay, when's your next project coming out? Is it like is it a movie? Is it a video? What's the next thing you coming out?
Yeah, the next big thing is Grotesque 2, which is almost finished and is premiering on July 17th here in Edmonton. We're having a big movie premiere, and then it'll be within a few months after that. It'll be released online somehow, and we'll be selling DVDs and stuff too. That's kind of the next big thing, and then we're shooting more movies. I have another movie called Horror Show. We're in post-production right now, so that'll hopefully be coming out sometime this summer as well. It's going to be a good one. It's like a old school slasher movie. It's got some like awesome kills in it. That one's coming out. Hard to say. We're just struggling right now with like getting the sound and some of the stuff finished. So hopefully it'll be out later this summer. But yeah, those are the 2 big ones coming out: is Grotesque 2 and Horror Show.
Have you tried to get them out to like some of the I'm in New York City, so we have Angelica. Like I saw the Blair Witch before it was anything. Like when people didn't even know what it was.
Oh, nice.
Have you tried to get that? Have you tried to like get into that venue?
I'm not sure. Yeah, we're kind of looking at all options here. Like the theater where we premiere here in Edmonton, they're pretty nice to like artists. They support local artists, and they hold like 550 people. So that's kind of the venue we like. I'm still trying to figure out other ways, because the thing that sucks about like streaming is that they pay shit. You get paid what 0.003 cents per view. So you have like hundreds of thousands of people watch your movie, and you make like $15. It's like it's so hard to. Whereas, so we're kind of looking at, honestly, we sell a fair few DVDs, but like it takes sometimes it takes 10,000 people to watch it on streaming to make the same profit we do on one DVD. So it's
do
kind
people still buy physical DVDs,
Yeah.
or they buy the movie as a digital download?
it's a bit of both. Like they don't sell as well as they did decades past, but there's still quite a few. There's still people that like having a physical copy of it. And I've had even people like as far as like Australia that want to buy a DVD, and it's like, man, it's gonna cost a lot for shipping, and it's like, well, they don't care. They'll pay $30 in shipping.
I mean, I still buy DVDs and I still buy CDs as well. But
yeah, so do I.
I know that's like both are like dying.
They are, but it's kind of like it's dying, but at the same time, it's still like their sales are in like the hundreds of millions of dollars. So for me, it's like, well, frick, if I can get like a tiny percentage of that, it's still a lot of money to me. If I can sell like 100 DVDs, it's like, oh, fuck, that's cash in my pocket. So we're doing that. I'm thinking of using some sort of like online like pay-per-view thing, where basically you just like kind of like my own Amazon, where you just pay like $5 to watch the movie. Because there's going to be a lot of people that are just willing to help out. They want to see it soon, so they'll pay $5 to watch it, and that's more money up front. Because as soon as you go to streaming, like they screw you so hard on it. Like it's just like you make such little money that it's almost like barely even worth it.
No, I hear you. Yeah, they do like some of my stuff is traditionally published, and some I put up through my own company, Dead Guy LLC. So the stuff that's traditionally published, like it'll be on Amazon, but Amazon will gives you 35% of what it sells for, and then the publisher gives you a percentage of that 35%. So yeah, you're right. You're like, holy shit! How did stuff $16 and I made $1.35?
Yeah, it's hard. I wrote a few years back. I made it's kind of like a fake children's book. It's called "You're the Reason Mommy Drinks." So it's like it's for adults, but it was made like a kid's book. So it's got like pictures in it. And so I self-published it myself on Amazon. I think I sold like 100 copies in the first week, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty good." And then also this publisher in the UK was like interested in it, and I was like, "Oh, fuck! If I could sell this many, they could do even better." So I signed with them, and they probably sold like friggin' 10 copies over the next like 3 years. Like they put no effort into it, and I made like nothing. I was like, friggin' assholes! Like I could have just like continued selling it myself on Amazon. Yeah, and it's the same thing with like movie distributors. Is like you just get screwed so hard. Like you make so little money that it's like, what? If I'm gonna make shit money, I may as well make shit money with me controlling the film. Sometimes they change the artwork, they change they just like they screw with your movie, and then you make like nothing.
Oh, they do, yeah.
So it's like, what? If I'm gonna make nothing, I'll make it on my own.
Yeah,
terms.
you don't know what they sell. A lot of them are pretty crooked. So like you're like, why did I know people? Why did it sell like 30 copies? So like, oh well, those must have been European sales. We didn't get those yet. A year later, you still don't hear anything about it.
Yeah, it's like somehow they find a way to screw you, where it's like, what? If I just put the movie on YouTube, it's like money will come in. I release it through Film Hub. It gets out there. It's like real money comes directly to my bank account. I'd honestly I'd rather have like $50 of real money come in than sign with a bigger distributor and get zero. It's like,
yeah, I'm glad people are getting more venues to bring their stuff out there. I mean, there is a lot of crap. You got to weed through the crap, but there's a lot of mainstream crap. Like, they'll put out a movie, and it's not like even half of them are good.
Yeah, it's a thing. It does kind of suck that now that like you could put your own movies out. There's a lot of people doing it, so it's hard to get noticed. But at the same time, like I would hate it if there's only Hollywood movies out there, because like most of them suck too. I kind of like it that I can make my own thing, and I have my own little kind of neck of the woods here where I have my own fan base, like my stuff, and I can kind of do what I want. A lot of the ones that are iconic, like people made that, they did like guerrilla filmmaking on their own. Like I'm a big fan of Evil Dead,
You think Evil Dead will do a massive studio? They poured money at Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
His brother's in that. Like, he went to college with Bruce Campbell. He just knew it personally.
Yeah, and it kind of, I think people, they like being a fan of something that isn't like a Hollywood studio, right? It's like, yeah, Star Wars, whatever, but it's like, it's so big. I think people like Evil Dead. They like something grotesque. And it's like, hey, not a lot of people know about this. I'm a big fan of it. And it kind of like, it's kind of like being a fan of like punk music or heavy metal, something it's not mainstream, but it's like, fuck, this is cool. Only me and the select group of people kind of like it. You kind of want to be part of like a scene like that is kind of like underground. And I kind of like doing that where it's like, I don't have to answer to anyone. I've done movies where, they're putting bigger money into it, so you have to do what they tell you. And they kind of just ruin the movie somehow, and I end up doing it just for a paycheck. So I kind of like it that it's like, when I do my movies, it's like, I will do it how I want, and I don't have any overlord looking over me telling me what to do.
Yeah, and a lot of people who like the quote tastemakers, they don't know shit. Like they all thought Star Wars was going to fail. Like everyone told George Lucas this is crap. Like he almost didn't put out a movie because he thought it was crap. In fact, he saved all the props from the first one to make the second one because he figured to have no budget. And then, of course, it blew up.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like I've written scripts and movies, and you have to kind of they'll tell you the changes what they want. You have to change it to this, and it's like they don't know. It could have been good the first way, but then someone else will come on board and they want it changed to what they want, and then an actor will come on board and they want to change a bunch of stuff, and it's like
in fact, them telling you might be the cue that you were onto the right thing to begin with.
Yeah. And I've had, I've changed things, and then all of a sudden a director comes on board and they want to change back, and so it's like no one can predict what's going to be popular, and if you think you're going to be right, like you're just like delusional, right?
And when they do, they're wrong.
Yeah, and like
it's always the indie project that comes down, you're like, holy shit, that blew all the boundaries off.
Yeah, like say like with I'm Haunted, it was like that was the one I didn't think it would work. I'm still surprised anyone liked it. But that's the one that became the most popular. And I've made some of my films that I think are going to be popular, and they're not. So it's like you can't predict what people are going to like. So I just kind of want to make things that I feel like making, and
people
like
it. Good quality, and like you'll probably resonate with somebody. If not the first one, the second one, somewhere down the line.
Yeah,
people recognize quality.
Yeah, and it's going to appeal to someone. Even some of my short film, I have a short film called "I'm in Love with a Dead Girl," and there's like this one person out there who just absolutely loves it, and it's their favorite movie ever. And they show it with all their friends, and I'm like, well, thank you. But some 12-minute movie is their favorite movie ever, but like whatever you make, it's going to appeal to someone.
It's possible. Everyone's different. Yeah. All right, man. So I think that's a good overview of what you've got going on. Is there something that people should hear about, or somebody they should contact you that you haven't mentioned yet?
Yeah, by all means. Yeah, look up Higher Universe. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. You can look me up or Higher Universe, my company. You can subscribe to the YouTube channels. We got a lot of cool stuff coming out, and yeah, just keep your eye out. Go watch Grotesque. It's on Tubi. It seems to be where most people are watching it, and see some of my other movies there. I got like a horror anthology on there as well. All my short horror films, I put them all together and then like shot a wraparound story. So it's called It's called the Ezra and Gore Girl Horror Anthology. It's kind of like Ezra Eve is kind of like a Elvira kind of TV host, and her assistant is Gore Girl, who's like this girl that's covered in blood. Okay. And they're like hosts of this like weird TV show that plays all these horror short films. So that was released late last year. So yeah, that's on Tubi as well. So yeah, if you go to Tubi and look up my name, you'll find all my movies on there. And I have a stoner comedy called Hot Box that you'll find on there as well. And Tommy Chong, who's actually from Edmonton, like me, saw it, and was nice enough to do a little promo video for us that you'll see on YouTube.
That's awesome.
Kind of cool of him. So, yeah. So, by all means,
give everybody a shout out of your name again so people know who to look for.
Yeah, it's Brandon Rhiness. Rhiness.
Okay, awesome. So, everybody, buy your shit, send the money, make it all worth it. Thank you very much for being on here. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I don't think so. Thanks. I really appreciate you having me on. It's great meeting you, and really appreciated the conversation.
All right, man. Cool. Thank you.